Hello, I'm Ryan F9 and these are life-saving motorcycle mods. Bike modifications are exactly like Baywatch. Most people choose them because they're fast, loud, or good-looking. But we forget that they can also save our lives. Case in point, RotopaX cans lashed with a nylon strap. You're probably thinking this is about fluids, red for gasoline, white for water, and both could end up saving my life in a perfect storm. But that's a secondary benefit. Of course, mounting jerry cans is a good idea, but it's the mounting rope that I'm really after. It can save your life if you tie one of the straps like this. Thankfully, the RotopaX has an orgy of notches and holes, so it's easy to use this knot. Newfoundlanders and horse owners will know what I'm getting at. Crash your bike, bleed profusely, quick release, 1, 2, 3, tourniquet. But wait, like a bad infomercial, there's more. If you choose a nylon strap, you'll have the strength for a decent tow rope. Or when alone, the strength for a pull rope. Either can get your bike out of a sticky spot. More combustion, less dehydration, stop exsanguination, or give some manual persuasion. This mod is a fourfold lifesaver. And that brings us to ass covering corner, where I say obvious shit like, don't tie a tourniquet unless you know when and how to do so, lest you give yourself a pulmonary embolism and die. Now, ADV riders would strap an oil tanker to their bike if they thought it might help, but not everyone is willing to carry so much fuel. Mod number 2 is a subtler way to solve the problem. Splice the quick disconnect into your fuel line and store the plastic tubing under the seat. If you run out of gas, well, it's going to be the old suck and siphon to pull fuel from a passerby. But the real magic happens when you're playing savior. Then you yank the disconnect, attach the tubing, and flick the ignition. Now, as you can hear, I'm using my motorcycle's built-in fuel pump to transfer gas from this bike to this one. I didn't even have to drink any. An added bonus is that I can easily drain my tank this way for storage or transport. If you're a sensible person, you'll be calling bullshit about two things. First, what about carburetted bikes? I mean, some of them have fuel pumps, but most will require you to set the petcock to prime and then ensure that the donor tube is higher than the receiving tank for gasoline to flow. To that I say yes, it's true. You may also be calling bullshit on the quick disconnect. Isn't this a bit sketchy, potentially leaky? To that I say not really. And this is the exact same quick disconnect you'll find on pretty much every KTM dirt bike. And they have an excellent track record for not allowing air into the line, for not leaking. As an AltRider product, you can expect to get kicked in the nuts by an AltRider price tag. If a creative solution isn't worth 70 bucks to you, just get the simple solution for $1. All right, sure, but how often is running out of gas a life-threatening scenario? Definitely less than getting hit by a car, which is where these help. Nothing commands attention like blue lights. If you look like a cop, you'll be noticed and you'll be safer. Nobody likes crashing into police cars. Stats are encouraging. Strip sizes from 1 inch all the way up to 1 foot, 3M adhesive on 3 sides, 4-foot leads. It's a cinch to install, just stick and sparkle. Now, if you ride off the beaten path, you'll need to survive the wilderness rather than wild drivers. For that, we look to mod our seat, remove it, and a piece of the mounting plastics to reveal foam underneath. I value my padding here, but I rarely carry a pillion, so I don't really mind if the foam gets a little thinner back there. Mark the foam around your survival kit, cut a space slightly smaller so you can really wedge the kit inside, and then replace the plastic cutout and tape to secure. Now I just replace the seat and forget about it. I never have to remember to bring the survival kit with me, only to remember that I have one when shit hits the fan. In that case, this SOL Origin is rather capable. Waterproof box, waterproof fire starter, waterproof sparker, compass for navigating, mirror for signaling, whistle for calling, hooks for fishing, needles for sewing, wire for everything, nylon cord for snaring, knife for paring, and heavy-duty foil for cooking. If you can't manage this stuff with your eyes closed, there is a flashlight to illuminate your workspace. And if you can't manage this stuff at all, there's a how-to book by the professionally unkillable Buck Tilton. This is the true Canadian passport, and you shouldn't adventure without one. I've modified mine by wrapping some extra foil around the Tinder Quick. I'm not sure that this is really necessary, but it makes me feel less likely to light a fire under my ass. I actually can't feel the kit, such as the thickness of my foam. So I bought this emergency Bivvy as well, which I'm gonna wrap around the kit before reinstalling. I reckon I might feel it then, but that'll be worth it. Of course, not everybody has a lazy boy for a motorcycle seat. Can I store useful stuff elsewhere? Yes. 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 Take Moose Quicksteel. This stuff is a lifesaver if you punch a hole in your crankcase or something like that. All you have to do is peel off the plastic, knead it to mix the two different types of epoxies, and then you build up whatever you need. In 20 minutes, you'll have a solid substance that can withstand engine temperatures. In my experience, this stuff is weaker than JB Weld, but it's much more versatile in its malleable putty form. So long as I preserve the airtight casing and don't mix it too much, I can mod this underneath a foot peg rubber, into a hollow tube, wired up behind body panels, tucked inside the taillight, etc., 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 etc. I especially like the wired up solution because that's a whole other lifesaver to carry. Pretty much anything that falls off your bike can be wired back on in a pinch. And that's all, Scouts. Always be prepared.